You know, my hair doesn't ever get long, it just gets bigger. It's like the 80s all over again. Except I'm looking a little bit more like George Tsoukalos than anyone with an updo.
They say smart people have a higher concentration of iron in their hair, and this is due to the fact that they are thinking more and there are more electrical charges going on in the brain, thus attracting more and more iron due to the laws of electromagnetism, denoting that when there is a current, there is a magnetic field that accompanies it. So more thinking, more iron in hair, so hair stands up straight.
That's bent. Not bent. Really bent. You know, right now, the hardest part about training isn't the lifting. It's not the food or the cardio either. It's looking at
so the silence that allows for my mind to run around with my ear up. The
first exercise we got going on here is the minimal rest bench press. It is 10 by 3 at 335 pounds, pretty easy. It's 55%, but the difficulty isn't in the weight, it's the lack of recovery that you're able to do. This is a fatigue manipulated movement. So we do minimal rest, so that means 10 to 15 seconds rest. This makes each recursive set that much more difficult because we're not able to fully recover. We can't do the powerlifter thing and take a nap in between each set. We gotta stand up, walk around, or we just stay there and not unset up in between each set. This is a sadistical child of an exercise, birthed in the brain of Greg Norm, to make all of us, his beautiful wet-headed baby children, suffer while performing the bench press. Because the first set is easy, the second set is easy, the third set, I mean, it's starting to get hard at this point. More and more set after set after set with little to no rest in between. By the time you get to the 10th set on this, 335 pounds is starting to feel like 635 pounds, and you're questioning whether or not you're actually strong enough to be able to be competing at the level that you're competing at. And then you realize that either you're not strong enough or your cardio and your GPP is not up to par as to where it should be. So this, I call this cardio bench because the minimal rest, we're basically doing cardio while bench pressing, but at least it's not squats. There's very little chance of us throwing up during this cardio bench. Squats, that's a completely different story.
crooked. Uncrooked.
Next up is our mechanically similar movement, the Spotto press. 1x20 at 315 pounds, bringing the bar to about an inch above the chest, and then pressing it up. We don't pause the Spotto presses because pausing creates a negative muscle memory that will be bad for our bench press in the future. Our next accessory on the menu today is the Dumbbell Incline Bench Press with the biggest dumbbells we got in the gym, the 150-pound dumbbells. It's a little difficult to get them up to my chest in order for me to press it. After a second attempt, I'm able to get it to my chest, do 1x20. We do the medium range in this accessory movement because bringing it all the way down to the chest is too much stress on the upper chest and it stresses those ligaments out too much, and locking it out is very detrimental to the cartilage in your elbows. So we want to stay healthy and keep our body functioning at a peak potential. So we do the medium range and we keep that constant tension on our pectoral muscles during the full movement, and we do 1x20. It was supposed to be 2x10, but we got the biggest dumbbells in the gym and it's a pain in the ass to bring it to the chest, so we said, you know, fuck it, let's just do it in one set. So it was a 1x20. And like always, don't forget to put your weights away. Don't be an asshole who doesn't bring their weights back to the original home that they belong in.
Next up, we got the JM press. I enter the bench backwards because I need that extra horizontal space that you don't get by entering the bench press regularly in order to do the jam press. It also works for skull crushers. This was programmed as a skull crusher, but I prefer doing the jam press because the jam press reduces the amount of stress on your elbows and shoulders are one of those areas that most powerlifters are a little sensitive with. It is the most injured section of the body due to squats and bench press stressing out the shoulder area. So trying to keep the shoulders healthy, trying to keep the elbows healthy, so we sub out the skull crusher for the jam press. Since I'm a little bit of a sadistic fuck, our back movement today is the legless machine row. Machine rows are my favorite movement, and I got a suggestion way back on Instagram from the man himself, Dan Bell, because I was maxing out the machine for reps, and the point of doing machine rows is to isolate the back, and when we're exploding and maxing out the machine using our legs, what percentage of our back are we using? Are we isolating our back? Are we not losing some of the gains that we could be gaining by using our legs? So taking the legs out of the equation, controlling the reps a little bit more, but also producing explosiveness with our isolated back is going to produce more gains, and it will be beneficial for the future of our pressing movements, back movement, all three of the powerlifting movements, to isolate the back in the machine row. But we also did a pyramid. We started with 5 plates and worked all the way down to 0 plates. And I like doing this because we started off with the cardio bench and all the benefits from that we've already gone over. So I did a little bit of a cardio accessory in the pyramid in our machine row. I kind of just like doing that because it makes cleanup a little bit easier, but also I warm up, so I get a lot of volume just from warming up on the machine row. So doing a lot of fatigue manipulation increases the gain potential in our accessory movement. So by reducing the amount of rest time that we get in our machine rows and our isolated legless machine rows, more gains we're going to develop, and we're going to get a stronger back in the long run. So it's a long game versus short game. What looks good on the gram isn't necessarily what's going to look good on the platform. The last bench-specific accessory that we got going on today is the band pull-apart. Band pull-aparts are kind of like a dumbbell fly, except we get the snapback due to the elasticity of the bands, which allows us to not only feel the accessory movement in our pectoral muscles, but also in our lateral muscles, the latoris dorsi muscles, which is important for both the bench press and squats and deadlifts as well. Lats are used in all 3 of the powerlifting movements. It's probably the most important part of the human body that a powerlifter can develop through his training. And this isolates both the pecs for the bench and the back for all 3 of the movements.
And since it's always smart to train up your core, the final movement we got going on today is a banded Mason twist. Mason twists develop the oblique core muscles, which is very important to stabilizing all of your movements. On squats, it helps you from twisting and rocking back and forth, any sort of lateral twisting movement going on in squat. On bench, it helps you brace, and same thing, prevents any sort of twisting. And deadlifts, it helps you, if you get out in front of yourself, it helps you pull yourself back in and increases the chances of a successful deadlift. So it's important in all 3 of the lifts and is a underappreciated set of abdominal muscles.
I don't know if I've mentioned them before, but there's 2 young kids who come in. Fuck, I'm old. They're not young kids. They're like 18, 21. I don't fucking know. I don't really talk to them. I just do the biggest guy in the gym nod, like yeah. Anytime they do something. But this kid, he missed a deadlift PR. And he sat down for a couple minutes and he tried. I didn't watch the first one, and I made it a point to watch the second one. And then he fucking pulled it. I'm so proud of this kid. No videos. I don't video strangers. Don't ask for it. But then he did the young kid thing and added 20 pounds and then missed that PR twice. Lesson learned, if you hit a PR, you'll be happy with it. Well, fuck. That's cardio. Fucking sucked. So That was 0.91 vertical miles in 15 minutes. 43, 44 floors for a 369 pound fat guy. I started off slow because I've been half-assing cardio. My nutritionist, Brianni Terry, has yelled at me to do cardio. So yeah, I've been doing cardio, just on level 1 or level 2. Worst part about that whole thing was that was all on manual mode. You gotta be a little bit of a sadistic fuck to do that to yourself. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm fucked in the head. That cardio is not impressive whatsoever. I'm just a little proud of it. Why do cardio? Cardio is one of the contributing factors to your recovery. You go to the gym, you train, blah, 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 you build muscle fibers. Well, it takes your heart some time to get blood flowing, nutrients flowing throughout your body. So you gotta work on your cardiovascular health as well as your muscular health. Doing cardio increases your recovery and it reduces the time in which it takes your body to recover. When I first signed up with Brianni, she was like, what are your goals? I was like, one of these days, I'm gonna be the greatest of all time. And everyone fucking says that, but not everyone has the potential to do that. I'm within striking distance of that. I'm literally competing on the same platform as Dumbbell. My last peak, on squats, I tore my quad. On bench, I failed, and then I competed, and then I tore my pec. What that went back to was a week where I benched 500 for 6, the same week as I squatted 800 for 4x2 plus an AMRAP, which was 4 at the time. Last training block, which was kind of a scuffed training block because it was my first training block back after hypertrophy, working my full muscle groups again in hyperplasia. I hit 500 for 5, which was 1 less than my PR. And I was pissed. And I went into squats. I did the 4x2, and then I did 1x5. And the goal was 5. I cut myself short. I could have had 6 or 7, if not more. It was after a 4x2, so I was already pre-fatigued from the 4x2 at 800. I recovered quickly from that because of the nutrition that I've been receiving, as well as doing the cardio. So the cardio has contributed to my training because I'm able to recover and get more out of every set. So cardio is actually a little important, I have to admit. And then 2 weeks later, Craig Foster steps onto the scene. He's at a gym. I don't know the name of the gym. His training partner, Shane Haller, who is also a wicked strong motherfucker, he posted a nice little AMRAP with 804 because kilogram plates. And lo and behold, one of the side spotters, because he had side spotters and a back spotter, I don't have spotters. One of the side spotters was Dan fucking Bell. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just being in the presence of Dan fucking Bell adds at least 200, 300 pounds to your squat. He won that time.